good evening. How's everybody? And welcome to tonight's live. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be bringing on Chris and Adam from Haunted Scouse. So obviously it's our neck of the woods. So it's time to introduce these amazing lads and let them introduce what they've been doing and what they've been up to over the last, I'd say, 12 months or more. So good evening, Chris. Good evening, Adam.
Hi, Gary. You okay, mate?
You okay?
Yeah, all good, all good. To say, I try and catch as many of your lives as I can because obviously we are around the northwest, and I always like to try and catch up on what you're up to and everything else as well. So would you like to introduce yourselves, give us a little bit more insight to the people that will be tuning in?
Go on, do you want to go first, Mr. Billing?
My screen's frozen, mate, so I don't know if you want to do it. I'm just going to sort this out.
Yeah, I can see.
Go on, I'll go first then. So, okay, well, I'm Chris. Obviously, one of the two members of Haunted Scouse. Based, I live over in Liverpool, work over in Liverpool. And yeah, it's I do the editing on it. So it's if there's any faults in the editing, you come and see me about it. If there's any spelling errors in any of the text, it's down to me, not Mr. Billing.
And how long have you been associated with the Haunted Scouse, and where did it? Obviously, I know where the names originated from, but how long? What's your background in that, Chris and Adam? How long have you been into all the paranormal and all these places as well?
Do you want me to take that one, mate?
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Yeah, well, for me personally, I've always been quite keen on paranormal shows and stuff like that. So any chance that I could, I'd be looking up ghost hunting companies and just places to go and people to go with. But as you probably can tell, it's quite a niche thing, and not many people are into it. So I was just going on these different nighttime investigations with different places, and then I just stumbled across Ghost Quest, and that's how I met Chris. And let's just say the rest was history, really. We turned up one night for an investigation. I came a little bit last minute, and I met Chris for the first time, and it kind of just took off from there. And we'd always have a bit of joke and have a bit of a banter, that Chris and I, because we were from up north and we were the Scousers, and we'd always peel off and do a bit of it's Haunted Scouse. And it just so happened that because of lockdown, Ghost Quest couldn't get together and film. And we just said, Chris and I thought, well, do you want to give it a go? And we started in October, just after Halloween, and it just seemed to have grown and grown bigger than what we expected. So it's been great.
And what I really like as well is when I've caught up with some of your YouTube stuff and some of your lives as well, and your interaction as well. It just, there's a connection there, isn't there? And that's what you can't beat when you're going out on these events and you're getting out and around prior to the lockdown and that. And then once you've got this bond and connection, it's just so great of meeting all these people as well. So, I mean, it brought a lot of people together, the paranormal world.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, as Adam said, when we first got together, I literally joined Ghost Quest as social media manager because I could see that we just needed a little bit of help on that side of things. But because of the lockdown, that's where the episode came about, my first ghost story, which was about when I first saw a ghost on the Wirral and down Gattaca way. And that's where it began. It's like Adam jumped in when one of the other guys from Ghost Quest, Will, couldn't make it on the night, and literally Adam pulls up outside my house. Nice to meet you. Right, follow me. And next thing, two grown men are walking around in the woods trying to figure out how to use an SB7 and a night vision camera, and we'd never used them before. So we're really proud of that episode of Ghost Quest, because apart from the fact it was a huge hit, but we'd never used any of that kit before, and we literally had to learn how to put the batteries, connect to the illuminators, everything from square one. And it was once we'd done that, as Adam said, we just kind of, without being able to get out with all the guys, we bought our own cameras. Ben kindly converted them for us, and we were suddenly left with cameras. And because of COVID, Ghost Quest couldn't get together, so we just started coming up with the idea, let's maybe do our own thing.
Certainly as well, and as you've explained there, fantastic is how simplistic it is to start getting up and running on the lives as well and getting out there. So even though it's not easy to put together, it doesn't take long for you to work it out and try different things and different methods. And that's what I like, is seeing people out there that's just having a good go in it and enjoying it. And that's what's really nice to see, you know what I mean? And I think you've put that well together, that you're just enjoying what you're doing, the enthusiastic side of it as well, which is nice to see.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing with, you see, we have the banter back and forth with, you know, I'm Baldy, he's the hairy one, and everyone that watches gets involved in that. And it's, you know, even like, as I've said previously on other things, it's over Christmas when my wife was in hospital, having contracted COVID. Everything was upside down in this house, and obviously my priorities were elsewhere. But then that's where the bond me and Adam had built up comes into it, because he went out and did the lives, and we kind of snowballed. It was a big thing for us. We we came out into the new year just doing lives because we weren't, well, I wasn't well enough to go out and film an episode. But and then, you know, the fan base just rolled with it, which is great. And I see like loads of names scrolling up there. It's you know, hopefully we brought most of them over with us, because they are very loyal.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. And then, are you looking at? Do you want to go through any things that you've experienced, and where's your most pleasurable place that you've been along to, and you know, what can you recommend for people out there as well? I always say it's nice to get out there and experience it, you know. So tell us a little bit about the places you've been to.
Come on, I'll let the young one take this one.
Was that me? Is it? Yeah.
Before you go into anything, Adam, I seen one where did you debunk the aeroplane? Was there an aeroplane flying over on one that somebody said they could hear something, and it was an aeroplane flying over, and it's like, oh, we debunked that one.
It's I think a lot of it is it's usually birds that get me, mate. So they seem to come out of nowhere, and albatrosses and just random noises. So yeah, it's but I mean, for me, there's loads of really great places that I'll throw out there, but I think personally the cheaper ones are always the best. And you know how, you know, Haunted Scout started, you know, we were outdoor investigating. So and I think that's it. Like you said, you just need a camera, you know, and a good sense of humour, and just something to point at, and off you go. But for me, over on my side, because Chris is he's in Liverpool and I'm on the Wirral. So my personal favourite's probably been Bidston Hill.
Right. Oh yeah, I've been to Bidston Hill, and the light out there, the windmill there, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was actually Chris did come along that night for one of them, and that's probably been the first place where I've actually heard something. So I've been to probably most stereotypical, all that place, that's really good, but literally outdoor investigating Bidston Hill, I heard it was like a scream and 2 clear whistles as well, and I'd never heard anything like that before on any place that I've been. So say it's a very, very cheap one to do, and it's a great walk. So I'd get yourself to Bidston Hill on the Wirral if you're brave enough at night, then but I'd probably go in the day at first just to scope it out.
There's also, I think there was a murder there, wasn't there, of a little girl as well, if I touch right. I think where you mentioned screams, I think we linked in there last time with a little girl or something, but quite close to the windmill, if I remember. But there's an observatory up there as well, isn't there?
Yeah. There's so much. There's literally there's things from aliens, werewolves, murders, witches, pretty much you name it. It ticks every box. So that's why it's such a great place to go and investigate, because you don't really know what you're actually going to go and encounter.
Yeah, and our Kells is when I was saying prior to us coming on live, and I touched on Bloody Acre as well. Do you want to touch into a little bit more on Bloody Acre and what you experienced? And I'll show you the photograph for what you've experienced, and I'll show a little photograph of what Kells we took on the live. That was actually taken from a live feed. the one I'll show you later on.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit more about Bloody Acre, and that is just an amazing place to experience.
Yeah, I mean, obviously being on this side of the water, I grew up down Netherley Way. Grew up on a place called Nailersfield, so I've got family in and around that area. So I knew about Bloody Acre. Drank in Chilwell Abbey pub many a time as well. But the whole idea behind the acre, I've always wanted to investigate it with equipment and night vision cameras, and just to see. Not going in there thinking, because obviously, as we say in our episode, there's the two versions. You've got the idea that there was a battle there and the blood spilt gave it the Bloody Acre name, and then you've got the counter idea that when they cut the grass, there's a red weed, and that's where the red colour gives it the Bloody Acre. But we weren't intending to investigate the graveyard of All Saints Church, but we use an app. We've been using it most of the way through, called Ghost Hunting Tools, and that's it. You can get it on the Play Store, and we just thought we'll have a go. You know, why wouldn't it work in the same way as an Ovulus? And it cost us $2.99 for the full version of the app with over 13,000 words.
Yeah.
And as we were walking through, we got a name through that was Ryle. Or R-Y-L-A, I think it was spelled. So we were talking about this on the camera, and then we said, okay, let's just have a little look. So we turned the camera to the side, and the two graves nearest to us was, I think it was John Charles Riley, and it was, I think it was Eleanor or Elizabeth Riley, his wife. Now, although the spellings were slightly different, if actually their name was Ryle and the app said Riley, so we kind of said, well, the app wouldn't have the name Ryle in it because it's not exhaustive, the list on it. But that's as close as you could get to that name on the grave, and the words were saying like look ahead and things like that. So and it's all there in the episode of the instance, and you can tell. And I think this is the thing, Gary. We really pleased that people trust us as paranormal investigators. I mean, we've even had a big up from Tom Slemon on Twitter to say, you know, go and have a look at these guys. You know, you can trust them in what they're doing. They're not going to make anything up. And it's and that was a prime example of it. I think you can tell by our reaction. It was like, wow, okay, hang on, turn the camera onto this grave. But it was but yeah, I mean, that was our introduction to the acre. And once we got onto the acre itself, you just feel it. But you can't find it. That's the strange thing. And I edited a lot out. We climbed over the wall, walked down the perimeter, couldn't find the way in, jumped back over the wall, tried going around the parkway. The fence was too high. I wasn't having him filming me hanging upside down on the fence. So we went back through the church, tried again, and then we just happened to look around the corner, and it was like one of those mirages, so to speak, like an optical illusion. And you just suddenly, as you lined up with it, suddenly there's the entrance to the acre, and it was strange. It was like it didn't want you to go in.
There's like another little part of the woods and forest of it, woods side of it, isn't it? And it seems to be buried just off the wall. Now that wall that you went over is only like 3 foot, isn't it? 2 or 3 foot on the boundary line. How did you find it? I found the churchyard quite nice, still night, and I found the churchyard quite welcoming. But on the other side, on the Bloody Acre side, over the other side, I found it was quite intimidating an energy, which was a very low energy that was trying to pester us all night. I've actually caught a picture where I actually channeled that low energy through. So I've actually channeled that through. That was just on the other side of the wall, about 6 foot over the wall. And I had to keep that back from channeling me full. So I had to keep that back as well. But very interesting. I think it's very well worth another visit again to the team out there and the people out there as well. Are you looking at going back there?
Yeah, I mean, well, now we know where it is, and Chris isn't going to make me walk 50,000 steps. I probably wouldn't mind doing it again, to be honest. 3 in the morning, I think I got in that night. So, but yeah, I mean, totally get what you're saying, because when we found it eventually, and we went through it. It does not look like it's hidden and it's being like kept away back at the acre. And then when we put the our S box on, the stuff that we were getting out of it was kind of like, get out, get back, go away, and it was just really, really negative. So when we did say in the episode, it will definitely be worth a little bit more time there now, because we can actually, we know where it is now, we can get to it quicker.
Well, also as well, I do believe it's one of the places that the council will just know anybody looking at developing on anywhere around there as well, onto that side of it, because there's been quite a few people trying to develop on that side of that area of the land as well. And I believe the council are just like, no, it's not happening. So there seems to be like, it's not a curse, but it just seems to be like an old theory of them wives' tales that roll down, that it's like, it's not to be messed with, it's not to be developed, that type of scenario as well.
Well, I was going to go back and do a live in January, and it was my wife that wouldn't let me, because my wife Suzanne, she's sensitive to the spirit world, and she kind of locks it away. But we went up there for the drive one night, just on a little recce, and she literally got out the car, popped her head over the wall, and turned around, went, car keys, I'm waiting in the car.
Yeah.
And she described it as like, once she put her head over the wall, it was like black shadows walking, just floating around everywhere. And it was that negative presence that, when we actually went there on that night, Suzanne made me take her mum's crucifix and a St. Christopher and zip them in my pocket, so she wouldn't. And then when I suggested I was going to go and do a live on my own when we couldn't get out anywhere, and she just, no, straight away, no, she didn't. She felt so that the presence was so negative that, good on her. It's she must love me, otherwise she'd have kicked me out the door and said, off you go.
Well, I do feel like that it has got a suppressive feeling as you're just close to the wall in the churchyard. I do feel it tries to feed off your fear, if you get what I mean. It tries to feed off anybody's energies and just tries to zap everybody, basically, and then it builds. So when you give it the acknowledgement as well, it does build. So it's good that you've got somebody there that can pick up on that sensitivity side of it. And I wouldn't recommend going out on your own, because I had a little scenario where I went into Ince village, which is a lot to do with the monks on this side of the water, and because I was dressed in black, they thought it was a burglar. So I've had a few scrapes myself in the past as well, but bloody acre, if anyone's not seen that, catch up on YouTube on that as well. And you call it over that side of it, the Great Wall, a chill wall, is it?
Yeah, well, that's it. It was kind of, we don't really do trailers, but we did a little trailer on that one, because it was when we were trying to find a way in, and I was climbing back over the wall, and the wall's that shape. So it goes without saying that when I got one leg over, it got a bit personal. So that's where we come up with like the Great Wall, the chill wall out of it. It was we made a bit of a joke about that for a little trailer, just to push the episode out there. But yeah,
jump it in one step, can't they, mate? But it does take Chris a little bit of a while. Might have to get something for the next one.
It's not worth going out with step ladders, is it, little?
I'm not at that stage yet.
Not at that part of the equipment. And as you mentioned, Adam, before you know it, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and welcome to all investigators' world of when you're going out there. These places, I found with the outdoor stuff, doesn't matter what time of year, I always like it to be dry. I feel if it's wet and damp, I just feel like that takes the edge off it for me. That, you know what I mean? So it's always nice on a nice, calm evening, you know what I mean? Yeah. Anything about, I think I've seen on Walton Woods, anything on that? Have you been out to any local woods that you've investigated?
Well, I'll let Adam talk about, because we did Walton Woods and Camp Hill as one of the episodes. So I don't know whether you want to talk about that one, mate.
I can't really remember it, mate. What happened? It was so long ago.
Well, I know there was. I went back and did a live on my own there. did a Facebook Live, did a YouTube Live. The YouTube one's still up there as an episode. And what we do when we were doing the lives, we were phoning each other, FaceTiming. How does that shot look for a stand? We had the tripod and the rig and everything. Does that look okay for when we go live? But when I was doing the Walton Woods live, it was the first experience I've had of battery drainage. So just as it got to the end of the Facebook Live, I literally put myself right in the thick of it. The only light was my light. And then all of a sudden, the light just went. But thankfully, my phone had a full charge, so I could press the light on my phone. But as you know yourself, Gary, you charge everything. You make sure every battery's charged and lined up, and you know where you are. And that was that was strange. It was like you kind of felt like there was something around you, but then all of a sudden the battery just went from being fully charged, 10 minutes use on a 3-hour battery, and it just drained on me.
What I found a couple of weeks ago, I think I was getting itchy feet, so I think I went out and spent about £25 on batteries just to fill my case up, and I took all the old batteries out, the old equipment. So if there is anybody there that is involved with paranormal equipment, paranormal teams and that, go and take all your old batteries out now, because I do recommend that you put new batteries in soon. And a lot of people do forget about the equipment as well. What do you enjoy about your equipment when you're going out? What do you enjoy using?
But for me, I mean, how I first got into it and looking at these shows, and I think sometimes you can be a little bit too overly reliant on equipment, and you'll probably notice. I mean, a lot of the people who watch us and watch me on some of the lives, it takes me longer to try and get a piece of kit out of a bag and turn it on. Equipment just doesn't seem to like me, so I just find that sometimes the best equipment is just your voice and your ears. And you've got your camcorder there, but I think just actually calling out and just sitting and listening and being in the moment, that's personally what I love. We've got a few bits of new kit that we've got that are coming on to some new episodes that I quite like, but personally myself, I just would love, going into a cellar, going into a supposed haunted location of some sorts, and just actually sitting and basically being in the moment.
Yeah, what we'll do on as well, I'll give you a few places where I'd recommend for you to go, which is quite local for you as well, and places like that to have a little look at around the northwest as well. Calderstone Park. Can you tell us any more about that?
Yeah, well, that was it was being one of the ones from my neck of the woods. It was just one of those, again, a park that I've been in so many times, but you kind of look around, you go, no one's investigated it, and that's where the whole idea is. We kind of in our heads, we've kind of called it Series 1 and Series 2. Series 1 being over this side in Liverpool, and I chose the locations. So it's me to do the research and things like that. And then Series 2, we've actually filmed the first 2 episodes over on the Wirral. So it's that's where we're kind of warming up on that now. But Calderstones, it's a 200-year-old history of having a manor house in it. So why would there not be anything there? That's the question. When you're walking around, then we did pick up enough. Especially around we split it into 2 episodes. So the first one's the Allerton Oak, and that's as the history goes right back, we know for the fact that oak tree was there before the Battle of Hastings. Yeah. So it's been there before 1066. And when you try to think about that, it's been used like a lot of the old oak trees were. The court used to sit under it and things like that. So there's a lot of history around there. So it was interesting to just walk around and try and tap into stuff. And what we captured between the 2 episodes was a lot of voices. We actually did capture lights at the base of the Allerton Oak, which was brilliant because we had my sister in that episode, our Nikki. And because there's a lot of, got some very good advice off Kate, her surname escapes me now, Hair Girl. Because before we'd even filmed an episode, I was watching the Festival of the Unexplained that weekend, and I was watching Kate, and it was all about the fairies and the pixies, and I put a question in. We hadn't even released an episode, but I was throwing Haunted Scouse out everywhere, and she gave some good advice. If you go in there and it's got pixies and fairies, take an offering. They love sweets. They love a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We went along that route. But one of the cameras that we had actually did capture lights flashing at the base of the Allerton Oak, and my sister described seeing them. Now, one camera captured them, the other didn't. But even that was it was really interesting that people are thinking, okay, it's Calderstones Park. But when you review the footage, all of a sudden, you've captured these lights at the base of this 1,000-year-old oak tree that my sister described seeing on the episode, and to actually capture them as Adams or myself has swung our camera around from a distance, you know where you are in it. So there's no roads that you can see the car headlights. So we know that's exactly the lights that our Nicky described seeing. So that was brilliant capture.
And again, it's always good to have a couple of cameras set up as well in different, obviously in different directions. But again, even one having mounted and walking around, and if you've got one set up that's just static, then that's fine. It's amazing what you can capture. Kells is part of Anubis team, and she says, "What's the most scariest moment that you've had?"
I mean, for me, it was probably the phone call to say, "Can you come and meet this 50-year-old fella in the woods for the first time?" So that was pretty scary. I'm not going to lie, but no. To be honest, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't get scared, because I get quite apprehensive in some moments. But it's mainly when we're going to go and do the solo lives that, as Chris said, we'd have the conversation about 5-10 minutes beforehand, and there is a lot of, oh, do you know what? I really don't think I can do this. I'm right in the middle of nowhere. I'm on my own, and obviously the outdoor ones. There's not just the paranormal that you fear, and it's who or what might be lurking out there as well. But the minute we hit record, we know we've got a good 10-20 people, a really good following now, that it's just like them being there with you. So it really calms us down, and it's just like talking to the fans and having that bit of banter and just having that bit of catch up with them. And it is kind of trying to do it for them. So you think that, all right, we're kind. I see it when people say, what are you going to do? This YouTube channel and the paranormal thing, it's just like documenting our hobby, really. So it's just something that we enjoy, that we want to share with everyone else. We're not going to say that we're the most professional people, and we do this and we're just trying to do what we love and just bring it to everyone else. And I say there are some scary moments, but I think the solo lives definitely get me going a little bit.
Again, it's all about getting out there, isn't it? You know what I mean? And that's what you can't buy, and that's what I always say to people: come out and experience what we're experiencing, because you can't buy that, and it does grasp you. So, right, Chris, same question to you. What do you reckon your moment was?
To be honest, there's been a couple for me, and there's been a couple that I'd love to tell you all about, but the episodes haven't been on yet. Then
that's fine then.
Soft lad's chuckling down there because he knows one that happened to me last week. That's just which is an episode that we might have to release sooner rather than later, that we recorded over on the Wirral in Staunton Woods. But yeah, that was but I think for me, we did St. James's Cemetery next to the Anglican Cathedral.
That's next on my question, that one.
It's like I knew. So I'll lead you nicely into that one then. But yeah, it was as we were going around and doing the investigation, we got to Huskerson's tomb, and as I had I use a Tascam DR5 voice recorder, so I've got me camcorder in one hand, looking through the grate of the gateway going in. Adam's filming me off from the side, and then I've got my hand through, asking questions. And as I've got my hand through, I saw this, just a ghostly pale face just come towards me. So I shit myself. Adam shit himself because I did. So, but it was brilliant that I was so glad. My panic in the edit was he pointing his camera at me when this happened? Because my camera, I was praying, caught what I saw. Unfortunately, it didn't. But his camera caught me in the moment of jumping back, which made him jump. And it was, and again, that's the good thing with our fan base. Know they can trust us. You know,
and that's what it's about. It is how it is, and that's how it is, and that's what you're trying to put out there, and that's what you can't buy. Is that I do feel that you've got to earn a lot of trust in the way. I always say, to me, I feel that people out there like mediums, we've been kicked from pillar to post for years, and it's like sometimes people don't like sharing their evidence now because so many people just kick the life out of it, basically. And sometimes you're like, no, come on, this is what we've experienced. You can't buy that, what you've just both jumped at the same time. You can't buy that as it is on the night. You know, that's just what it's about. And then any evidence you get as well is a bonus. When you're going down to St. James's Cemetery, was that in and around as you go down on the left towards the railings as you turn back on yourself? There's some little railings and like a little cave. Was that around that area?
No, it was. I know where you mean. No, the way
as you go into the entrance, if you look down over the wall, there's quite a lot goes on down there, I find.
Yeah, well, we went in from the Upper Parliament Street side, so we went in what's classed as the main entrance.
Right.
But we went off. In fact, we went up the steps towards the back of the cathedral first.
Yeah.
Because it was grim. I mean, there was this. We did a walk around first, and it was spectacular. The cathedral was all lit up, and we're nudging each other, going, "This is going to be the best paranormal episode ever." Went back around onto the road to get the cameras out the car, turned round, and the bleeding lights had gone off on the cathedral. So it was the load of sod, but they left the low-level lights on, and there was just this little bit of mist around the top of the cathedral that dropped down into amongst the trees. So it just gave just an incredible atmosphere. But yeah, I mean, we've said a few times, and we say it on the episode. There's people that will charge you the tenner to walk around there, and they dress up and everything, and brilliant. They've done the research. You're paying for the play that they put on for you. But if people want to experience it for themselves, just do a little bit of research and just go for the one. I mean, we said, ironically, it's one of the safest places we've ever felt, you know, walking around together. As much as you see people walking through, not once have we ever felt a threat from anybody that's walked through. They're just doing their thing. You're doing your thing. But it's just anyone that has ever thought St. James's Cemetery, if you're not familiar with it, guys, anyone watching, just Google it, have a look at it. They've got their own website as well, and it's just amazing.
And also, for anyone that's not been to St. James's Cemetery, it dates back to the 1600s, and there was obviously a lot of diseases and a lot of people coming in from ships, and there was just a lot of bodies thrown there as well on like mass graves as well. Basically, there's a lot of unmarked graves there as well, which a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, well, we chronicled that there was 57,000 burials there. And then somebody had commented, I don't know whether it was on our video or on something else I was reading a few weeks back, that they reckon there's closer to 70 or 80,000 in reality, for that very reason that you've just said. It's the unfortunate people that are not counted, but that was a convenient place to put the bodies.
So again, how did you find that there as well? I'm sorry, just missed the next question there. How did you find that, Adam, there? Do you enjoy that as well?
Yeah, I mean, when Chris sold it as a Christmas special, you know, you expect turkey and Christmas jumpers and crackers, and you know, it takes me to one of the most haunted places in Liverpool. So yeah, so it was a good Christmas special. But yeah, it was great. I mean, visually walking down into the graveyard, that's probably one of my highlights. Just I can still see it now very, very clearly on that misty night that we were there. But I've got to say, because it was such it's a mass cut through for college students, so it's an absolute nightmare to film, to get an episode out of it. You know, we were ducking down behind gravestones, and it was just really funny at some moments, looking at Chris going, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and we're in the middle of a graveyard. What's going on here? You know, what are we doing? But yeah, it was really good fun, and to say, there was some really good moments in that as well. And it was the first time that we used the music box as well, which is took on a life of its own from there. So,
oh yeah.
Right, okay. As you're from over this side of the water, Adam, you're not too far away from me. Give us some places that you've enjoyed the churchyard. Is there churchyards around the Wirral and graveyards as well?
I mean, there's a few places, like, because we've done the first bit, so we've done the Liverpool episodes, and we're just starting to film on the Wirral, and we've only done 2 so far. So there's a few that I've got in my head that I want to film at some point. One being the Dibbensdale in Bromborough, because it's got such a good little history to it. And there's a few churchyards in Birkenhead and in Fairceston, but I just don't want to give too much away yet, because we haven't actually filmed them yet. So, but there are some, and I don't want to spoil the surprise for Chris either, because he doesn't know either.
That's fine. Obviously, Thurveston as well. I've been past there. I think they call it like the Woolly Bomb Bomb, don't they? There's a statue, and I think they call it the Woolly Bomb Bomb, and then I think we go down to the beach down that way, can't you, as well, through a water walk?
It's a really good road. I mean, the road going down to the beach as well, and then just through there as well. The Wirral Way it's just got so much history to it as well, and there's a lot on there. So. Chris should have some fun when he comes over there anyway. So,
well, I've actually done on the Wirral Way. I've actually done that, and again, I was on my own one evening, and I had to explain to a police officer again that was parked up at Hadlow Station why I was dressed in black with a bag going on down this lane on this path on my own at I think it was about 10:30, 11 o'clock, but. If you go to Hadlow Station as well and you walk down the Wirral Way, you come out at Park Gate. I do recommend that you try that as well on a nice calm night as well.
Not to give it away, Gary, but that's our first episode that we filmed 2-3 weeks. We filmed Hadlow. That was the very first one that we did. And then we did walk down a little bit down the path and got some really good results from it. So that will be the first Wirral one that's going to hit the channel probably in the next month or 2.
All right, and again, obviously, because we are quite close and we've done quite similar places as well, which is amazing. Because you always start on your own doorstep and then you expand out as well, don't you? Have you ever look around? I also recommend Port Sunlight Village as well. Yeah,
I mean, that being a primary school teacher in Bevington. I know Port Sunlight is massive, and you know our year 3s do a lot of trips there as well. I've done the Bridge Inn before, and I've been in the cellars in the Bridge Inn. That's
I've done a lot of development classes in there, to be honest, as about 10 or 12 years ago. But tell us your experiences about the Bridge Inn, because the bridge actually isn't there now, is it?
The pub is. I mean, it was in the pub. Yeah, it's. I mean, I went with a group, and you know, being above level and just walking around the pub, there was nothing really. But when you go down into the cellars, it goes down about 4 levels. So you go down 1 level, and there's a couple of rooms, and there's like an old little servants' quarter and a kitchen, and they've got a little room where they store all the church pews as well from the church there, like in a really dark hole. And that was probably the first time I've experienced something being thrown. So in a very, very quiet, dark room, something like metallic hit the floor.
He's a very grumpy chap down there. That's all I can safely say.
But I kind of got that bit, yeah. But great. I mean, that was brilliant. And the one that the live on our channel that I did on my own was in Bevington Cemetery on Town Lane. That was quite good as well to walk around at night.
Just a question off Jess. She's saying, what really got you into the paranormal?
Go on, Chris.
we touched on that at the start as well, Jess, but the lads will just do a little recap on that for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think with me being the Arlas from the duo, being in my late teens, early 20s when Most Haunted started, and then obviously the amazing Derek Akora as well, of seeing Derek on there, and just I think sometimes as Scousers it just resonates when you hear a Scouse accent, and something like that you kind of went, okay, let's have a look at this. Nothing like that had been done before, so you kind of just look at it then and think, do you know what, how brilliant would that be to be doing all this, and not realizing how dark it actually is when you're doing this stuff. It's to go back to our first taste of it. Ben must have had to edit out us saying it was dark about 400 times, because that's all we kept saying to each other. It's dark, it's dark. So that's what got me into it. And it's like when it came round to joining Ghost Quest, and then on the route to this, it was myself and Suzanne were going to go on a fan event with Ghost Quest. We bought the tickets, and unfortunately it fell through at the last minute. But I'd got to know the guys from there, and that's how I joined that team as the social media manager. And I thought, great, yeah, all of a sudden there was a foot in the door to experience something that I've never been on a ghost hunt in my life. It's that doesn't appeal to me, and I'm not knocking it. It's a lot of people's only way to experience that type of thing. But I just think it's ideal the way we work as just two of us. We always know where the other one is. And we've now, because we've invested in, we've got a camera reach and a lock-off camera now as well. Yeah. We can always see where the other person is. But yeah, I mean, that's what got me into it. You know, obviously Most Haunted just puts that little thing there, and then it disappeared. Then you got Ghost Adventures in America. And you just kind of think, I think Ghost Adventures made it look more fun. And all of a sudden you thought, this could be something you could have a laugh with. And then, you know, obviously, once me and Adam met each other, it was like, yeah, do you know what? As we started talking about it, we thought this could work. I think it putting that humour in with the paranormal means that if the day will come, and you know, touch wood, we've not had it yet. The day will come when we've got nothing whatsoever from a night's filming, other than the two of us, you know, ripping into each other while we're on our own cameras somewhere else. But we've got the fan base that'll actually watch it for that now, because they know that part of it. They're watching it for us as well as the paranormal, thankfully.
And they also know that people are looking out for you as well, even on your lives. When I touched on when I was investigating on my own, and somebody approached me on that night because I was live at the time, I was having people ringing me mobile. Are you okay? You okay? And you're like, yeah, we're fine. So that community is amazing as well. So again, do you want to touch on what got you into it again for the people that's joined in late, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, same with Chris, really. You know, you see all these shows, and I just, you know, had a real like, oh, that'll be really interesting going there. And then you just start thinking to yourself, you know, is there something else out there, you know, and you want to kind of investigate it, and then you don't want to see or take what you see as gospel. You kind of really want to see it for yourself. I'm not going to badmouth anyone and say, you know, they over-exaggerate this and they're faking this, that, and the other. But I just thought, you know what, the only way to try and prove this or get this in my head to know if it's true or not is to actually just get out there and do it for myself. And then that's it. Because I know Chris has got his views on the paranormal, but I mean, for me, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a 100% believer, because I think I'm one of the old-fashioned people that until that chair comes flying at my head, or that table goes flying over, or something appears in front of me, I can't say that I actually 100% believe. So I'm still trying to chase that and prove that. And, you know, and I'm not saying that we haven't experienced things that are like a little bit, you know, odd, but it is just trying to, you know, prove that and then get that on camera. And as we said before, it's really good that we've built up the fan base now, and we've built that bit of trust, because, you know, I'm 100%, you know, we wouldn't fake or do anything. What you see is kind of what you get. And I think, you know, there are going to be, as Chris said, some episodes where there's not much, but You know, it does seem
that's how it is on the night, isn't it? It is what it is, you know. Jess has put a question. Are you planning on obviously renting a few rooms out in the Adelphi and having a little look around there, the hotel?
I think I'll jump. I know Chris will comment, but as I say, because this is a hobby, and I'm a primary school teacher, and I'm quite busy, and I know Chris is quite busy in his job, and we haven't really got the reams and reams of money to rent all these places out, unfortunately. So we do try and look at cheaper alternatives, and like we always try and offer as much advice as we can for equipments and stuff like that for people who do want to start up, because we're exactly in the same position that we can't afford like £1,000 to throw at this location and that location. So we are just obviously trying to put our foot in the door and get our name out there a little bit to get in. But if the Adelphi ever came up, that would be absolutely fantastic. And there's a lot of places that we'd love to do, but unfortunately, some venue higher places are quite extortionate.
When I was on the taxis, I think it was 06 to 09, used to pick up quite a bit, not over in Liverpool, but when I had an arranged pickup to do on dropping people off in Liverpool and coming back and all that, I used to talk to some of the cab drivers down on the Adelphi on that rank stand, and like more Edgertons and all that as well, onto the back of the Empire. Now, the Empire has always stood out for me as one place that I would like to do, but even more Edgerton's pub and right down by the O2, that's always gripped me to go, I need to stay in here. And I was with another Reiki master one time in the more Edgertons, and we was going in to watch the lightning seeds or something in the O2, and I said to my friend, I said, are you seeing what I'm seeing? There was actually a gentleman around the table in the more Edgertons, and you could virtually see like his soul coming away from his aura. And I said to my friend, are you seeing what I'm seeing here? And she was like, yeah, that's like he was ready to prepare to pass on. But I'm sitting there in the pub in a nice quiet, not even working spiritually, and then we're seeing stuff in the pub going on, and we're just like, are you clocking this? You know what I mean? So it's all the time with these places. It is mind blowing, and I always say it is mind blowing. But to see certain things when you go in these places, they just seem to pester you and want your attention as well.
Well, that was the good thing with hitting on the idea of. I just put a post on one of the Liverpool Facebook pages one night about if anybody knows anybody who runs any of the Liverpool pubs, and they wouldn't mind us going in to investigate. And then somebody suggested get in touch with Dave at the Lion Tavern. So I got in touch with Dave at the Lion Tavern, and a week later, we're rocking up there to film in there.
I've got it on the list as well.
Yeah, I see the link there.
That's it. Yeah, there it is.
And it was brilliant. It was we weren't expecting anybody to come back, and we just thought, for a start, it was bloody freezing outside, and we were praying that somebody was going to let us inside and not expect us to pay for it. And obviously people have seen on the back of that, it's I think we've done 5 pubs now, and we hopefully have got another one to film next week, which has just been delayed slightly. But it's just another way of showcasing. I mean, I message so many pubs, and it would be great if we're waiting to drop in the Echo again with the Peter Cabanas. The article's just sat there waiting it could have dropped already, but that's any day now. There's going to be a good article about that.
I also tried the Liverpool pub as well, right down by St James's. It's even if you go in and having a sit down and a pint as and when you can, the Liverpool pub's quite good as well. And even having a walk around the Albert Dock, I just think it everywhere's just it is mind blowing. I just can't explain the energies because you're right on top of it, the Liver building, and you also one as well, which was the Titanic building. I went in there prior to redevelopment, and I was arranging to go and do a night over there. And I said I'd always like to know the link from the Titanic building to Belfast And then within 2 weeks, I was in Belfast Docks, investigating in Belfast Docks in the pump house. And I was like, this is bizarre. I've just been in the Titanic to do and ask about an investigation and the redevelopment. And then 2 weeks later, I was in the pump house and I was in the basin where they built the Titanic. And I was just like, oh my God, this is just unreal. Because my plan was I need to find out about the Titanic building in Liverpool. And 2 weeks later, I was there's the link in Belfast, and you're just like, oh, this is just unreal how the path takes you. Where do you think that where would you like to, what's on your bucket list?
For me, it would be, I'd love to do Speak Hall. The only reason being, because living over this side, it's just got that history to it. And obviously, being a kid, I've gone there so many times. Then as an adult, I'd love to go in there as a Liverpool Paranormal team as well. But again, it's unless we win the Euro Millions, it's a pipe dream, because it's I believe they want 1,500, $2,000 to hire that place to go in and investigate, and then you'd probably want twice as much if you were going to film it, because as soon as you say you're going to film it for something, they all throw all kinds of stupid prices on. Again, that's where the pubs were brilliant. The pubs just seeing the potential of promotion for the pubs. Yeah. The Echo are happy to run a story on every pub that we film in. And that's why we're hoping before they all open, a few more pubs will come forward as well. But I think Speak Hall, or I did message the Big House, the Vines, and just got ghosted, for want of a better way of putting it. That would have been a good one as well.
On your bucket list for you?
Funnily, I think I've just seen a comment from Phil there. I think the Leopard Inn. I forgot about that one. I've seen some really good episodes from different paranormal teams on the Leopard, so I'd love to go there. But then, I mean, quite a lot of traditional ones. The one that I haven't done yet, or haven't been anywhere near, is a jail. So, HMP Shrewsbury is in my head to do, or any sort of jail, because I'd just love to lock Chris up, to be honest, and get him out my sight a little bit.
Well, maybe you can get an episode there, because I'm sure we've got an investigation coming up there soon at Shrewsbury Prison. So get in touch with Karen on that one as well.
Just while I noticed you flashed it up before kindly. Whilst we're on, I just wanted to give a shout out to my mate who I went to uni with, a long time ago now, Steve Johnston. He's responsible. He's kindly allowed us to use his music for our series. So our theme tune that we come up with, like the intro, is called "Our Duty to the Party," and he's in it's all instrumental music that he does, and it's the other track that we use is mainly called "Landrew Help Me," and it's so atmospheric. But I think it's played a big part in having a theme tune, which I've even got as my mobile phone.
Seem to have lost
having a theme tune just helps. I think it throws it in his head. But yeah, if anybody's interested in that kind of thing, follow the link, and you can buy our.
Okay, and if you put if you put on the link that there, we'll give that a share as well for that, Chris and Adam as well. So you're back with us now.
I'm here. I don't know about Chris.
I am. I don't know where. Adam's been stuck in the same position for 5 minutes there. He's having a rest, I think.
I know, yeah.
Your screen's gone.
We're all right here. It's just you're not moving at the moment, Adam, but no problem. A couple of places as well.
Sorry.
It's all right. David West there is also part of the team as well, and he's saying have a little look around Chester. There's amazing places around there as well. One that always touching back on where you mentioned Most Haunted and Derek and all that. Did you ever see the one he done at Croxter Falls?
A long time ago, yeah.
And I was always drawn to that from actually seeing that one, and I was like, I need to go up in the top quarters, the servants' quarters, and go up onto the top there, and I was just drawn to that hall as well, and I always keep getting drawn to go in to Croxteth Hall as well. Right, one of my favourite places, I think Adam's frozen there at the moment. One of my favourite places is Walton Hall. I'm going to safely say it's in the top 5 in the UK for me. And as well, St James's Cemetery is an experience. I'd say St James's is on par with Greyfriars up in Edinburgh, so that I would highly recommend St James's Cemetery in Liverpool. Tell me a little bit more about Walton Hall.
Is he still frozen? Is he?
He is. He might have to go out and come back in.
Can you hear me, guys? No.
I can hear you. Yeah, keep rolling. Adam.
I don't know what's going on. I'm in between a laptop and a mobile, and I think it's just.
It's a very handsome freeze, though, Adam. I'll give you that. You know, you're looking very. You know,
all right.
And everything. Oh yeah, your hair looks great. Yeah.
Go on, you start. I'm just going to refresh the page, mate. Go on, you start on Walton Hall.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. I'm saying put the links on there for the soundtrack and the music there, is it?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, I say we don't make any money from what we do, Gary, but that's how Steve makes his living. So, and he's very, very kindly allowed us to use his music, and it helps a lot with copyright issues. You know, straight away, you have to be careful what you use.
Yeah.
But I mean, Walton Hall. I mean, I've known Walton Hall for a long time because I've been to parties there in the past with growing up down that way. I've been to weddings. My mate had his 18th birthday in there, and I actually videoed my mate's 18th birthday. And obviously, it's going way back when you had the little cassette tapes and the camcorder.
Yeah.
So I always had this. Once we started this, I've got this vision in my head of being able to use some of that footage to tap in and blend it in with an investigation, because I've got footage of Walton Hall when it was pristine, with walking up to the outside and the potted plants and everything, and cars parked and the lawn's immaculate. You know, the staircase is immaculate, and people have seen the videos. You've got the old phone box at the base of the stairs. You know, people in there, show me age now, people in there phoning taxis because we didn't have mobile phones.
Yeah.
You know, and we've obviously, as people, you know, because you joined us on the live, we have filmed in there, and we are hoping to release an episode from there probably in about 6 to 8 weeks.
But also what I enjoyed about that as well, Chris, was I just get that excited, and I know you're on the live, and I just get that excited, and I try not to tell people of what I'm picking up. I just try and let people know that what you're sensing and picking up is like spot on and all that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to give you a little bit of validation of what you guys are experiencing as well there. I found the hub quite interesting as well, even in Walton Hall.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, when you saying about joining on the live, that was the first time we decided. Adam went live on TikTok. I did my first live on Instagram before we then went live on Facebook. And it was on the Instagram live that Jolene joined us as well.
Yeah.
And picked up on a lady in black following me around, which at the time, when you're in this pitch black, scary ass room and you get told there's a woman in black following you around, it's like, thanks very much. And then showing the portrait on the wall, and Jolene picked this lady out. Now, at the end of the night, when we spoke to John, the caretaker, when he came to lock up, and obviously those that have been there will know John used to own the place, and he started talking about this lady who passed away sadly in one of the rooms. And if you go in the room, her pictures on the wall, there's two pictures of women. She's the top one. And it was exactly the same woman that Jolene had picked up on. So it was interesting that, you know, we could bookend before we'd even investigated. You guys, we got some fantastic information, which was a great help. But we had no idea that standing in a room and experiencing stuff in this room, that someone had passed away in there, until John told us at the end of the night. A lot of things made sense that people will see in the episodes.
Also, as well, what I found out about with Walton Hall is I'd done some scrying in the mirror where obviously I picked up on Judge Jeffries and another member of the team. They'd gone on into like the big hall down the bottom, and he shouted me like, "Come on, Gary, where are you?" I said, "I'll be through in a second." And then I got this shout and a scream of like the plaque with all the history of the owners from the past there. And I couldn't believe when Judge Jeffries was on there. I was speechless. I was just absolutely speechless.
Yeah. No, I know. We have got a. See, it is a place where it's. I think it's the most excited we both were walking in somewhere.
Any plans for any live soon? I know we can get 6 together going out and about soon. So any plans for this weekend coming? Easter special?
I don't know. Are you still there, Adam? Because you froze again with the same handsome picture.
I'm just doing it on purpose. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'll speak then. I might unfreeze in a minute, but yeah, it's been tricky, obviously, because we've been filming quite a lot with the episodes. We do want to get back to the lives, and obviously now it's getting a little bit lighter as well. We can still film in the day, but we obviously for that atmosphere we do quite like the night time. But every time we kind of put in place to do a live, we seem to like stumble onto another venue, or another venue gets in contact with us, and that kind of just throws us out a little bit, and then we're kind of panic stations and running around and getting ready for that. So it does seem to be every time we want to do one, something better, I want to say, will come along, or an indoor venue will come along. So and we quite like the indoors at the minute. So
yeah, most definitely getting hold of an indoor place is always okay, where you can have a cup of tea and refresh and have a break as well, and then go away into another session as well. And sometimes it can be really, really draining on an investigation as well. How do you take a flask when you're out and about on your walks and that? How do you get your breaks in within the investigation? Do you just have to take time out on the night and then go again?
He never stops eating, to be honest. He's you can't lose him, because all you can hear is the rustle of sweet wrappers or packets or something. But no, and he loves the cuppa. So everywhere that we go, he's got to have his cup of tea. But no, I think we tend to just crack on and get on with it. It's because we kind of, once you're in the indoor venue and you haven't got it till 4 o'clock in the morning, you're on a time limit, and as we spoke about before with Bloody Acre, and you do any investigation, you feel like you just get going, and then you suddenly look at your phone and go, Christ, we need to start packing up in a minute, because packing up all your gear takes half an hour.
Well, I always say to people at the start of the night, if it's a quiet night, it's a quiet night. If it's a busy night, it's a busy night. Before you know it, it'll be the end of the night, but it doesn't half run the time, doesn't it? You know, as we say, and that is just amazing as well. Cooper's Town House. Have you seen one on that? Is there an episode coming of Cooper's Town House?
We've done Cooper's, yeah. Can I just ask, have you got Peter Cavanagh on your list, by the way?
I haven't, no.
Right. So I'll Peter Cavanagh is the latest episode that we released, and it's got, we call this music box the third member of Haunted Scouse, and it just plays a nice little ditty. So I'll wind it up, because our fans love this, and I can see a couple of names on it. So that first made its appearance at St. James's Cemetery, and I picked that up in Llandudno last October. Me and the wife went for the day out, and we love our charity shops. I clocked that, lifted it, bought it because it was just a nice box. I thought, seeing Emma's comment there, I know Emma loves the music box. But Peter Cavanagh's episode, which is just being out, which is the one that's it's going to hit in the echo any day now. We've actually captured poltergeist activity on a lock-off camera where the music box, whilst it's playing with the lid open, actually moves to the side and slides to the side on a table. Now it's not a movement that is the good thing with having the lock-off camera. And then Adam's got another camera in the main room of Peter Cabanas. Is the lock-off camera has me walking in and setting the music box down, introducing the scene, asking the spirits to interact with the music box if they like music, and then I open the lid, set the music playing, and then I just walk out, shut the door behind me. There's only two ways into that snug. The door I've gone out of and through the bar. Now I've got the tripod set up, blocking the bar doorway, and the door's shut over anyway. And then the other camera sees me walk in. Now, unbeknownst to us, till I was doing the edit, it gets to the edit, and sometimes with the lock-off cameras, I'll play it on double speed, just because you can still see a light anomaly, or you can still see a shadow or something move. And I just noticed it move, and then straight away it was, I'm gone. Did it just move? So then I scrolled it back and forth, and as I scrolled it back and forth, the music box is doing that, and you suddenly go, within 60 seconds, I've videoed it on my phone and sent it to Adam, and said, mate, we've done it. We've got, it might be the best evidence we ever capture in actual paranormal evidence caught on camera, rather than sounds and lights and stuff like that. To actually capture the music box moving, it's just, I mean, anyone that hasn't watched the episode, please head across to the channel and watch the Peter Cabanas episode. You will not be disappointed. We had to sit on it for 3 weeks to try, and just little teasers, Easter eggs and things in our posts, just to play it all up. And then not say anything, because we have, as I've said before, we have a very loyal following of fans who, when we have a premiere, there's 20, 30, 40 people that join us on the chat on YouTube. And on that particular night, we always chat to each other on Facebook Messenger, and we just said, right, neither of us say anything now. Let the scene play out, and let's just wait for the reaction. And I mean, the reaction was just absolutely outstanding. And we're hoping more for the pub and the publicity for the pub. We're hoping it gets the views and the publicity it deserves, because it's such good evidence, and that we've captured it. We just feel really privileged, Gary.
I mean, when you show me that, Chris, for the first time, like with most people, it'll be like, oh, you must have done something to make that move. I literally, for about 3 hours, and then for the next week and a half, was like, right, Chris, what's gone on there? Come on, But there's just how it moves, and within the space or the time that Chris has closed the door, he's back on my camera within 10 seconds. So, it's really difficult to try and explain. And I think, like I said, because it slides and turns and slides, and it's going away it's going towards the window, not towards the door. So if you were pulling it, it couldn't actually go that way. So it's gone down as unexplained. If there's anyone out there that can try and explain it, put a comment on it.
That's what you want. That's the moment. I remember talking to a good friend of mine, and I worked with him for about 17 years. And I went up to a little village up on this side of the water, and I was describing a person I was seeing. And as I was on the live, he come out of his house because I was in his village. He went, "The fella you describe him, I've seen him 3 times in 30 years, and you've described him spot on." And he's just going, you can't buy that, because you're getting the validation of someone that lives in the village, and they've seen what I'm describing as a spirit. And you're just like, as you say, that validation is just timing. It's perfect. It's just amazing, So just anyone, please, I recommend go and watch these lads from the start on YouTube. Go and watch the first ones on YouTube all the way through. I would always safely say to people, don't skip and jump ahead. Start from the beginning with everybody. You know what I mean? That on the dates of the videos and all that, and on the live tube on YouTube and that, just it's like an open series where it's all about learning on your path as you go in as well. So
yeah, exactly.
I said that the other day that, you know, I went back actually and, you know, the other night and watched Bloody Acre again, because it was one of them. I think that was kind of the episode that kind of, you know, propelled us a little bit up to think, oh, you know, this is getting like quite serious now. But to see how far we've come in such a short space of time, even with how we're filming and how we're communicating and what we're doing. Chris has still got the same amount of hair, unfortunately, but, you know, it's just one of those things, isn't it, mate?
When you was at Bloody Acre as well, when you're at the churchyard, I was actually describing somebody in the doorway at the church, and the team could even pick up on that. And it was like an October still night, so it was really perfect for us to be there. But when we looked and turned towards the pub over the road, it was like you could see loads of energies in the doorway, even though there was nobody coming. I could just see energies coming towards us to have a little look around to see what we were doing and just what we was up to as well. I always find spirits are always quite intriguing, even if they're quite quiet. They'll always come along and heighten it as well, just to see what you're doing around the churchyard or what you're doing in a building as well. So like-minded people, I think we attract that type of energy as well, and I certainly do think you two lads do that as well, you know what I mean? And I was chuckling at Chris when he was in Walton Hall, and he said thanks for sorting it out to his other half, and I was just like, oh yeah, we've all been there. So he's keeping her sweet and he's out in an invest as well, so she's having a piece of quiet. I clock on to everything, mate, and I was like, he's being nice on the live there now, so we can get out again over the weekend or something. I was like,
we actually, every time I edit the episodes, we call it the Suzanne test. So once I've edited it, I upload it to YouTube as a private video so Adam can give it the once over, and then I go and put it on the telly by the hard drive and let Suzanne have a watch of it as well. And the good thing is she'll give honest feedback. And that's the thing, you know, that's the good thing. I can't, you know, again, massive thanks to my wife, because she is very supportive, because the editing takes, like, one episode might take me 3 days to edit, but another one might take me a week. Yeah, because it's in between working 5 days, having 2 kids and a wife as well. I would love to do it full time, because you could get involved, but I'm having to edit 3 hours one night, and then I might not touch it for a week. And that's why we're trying to get ahead at the moment. We're trying to film as much as we can. But again, as Adam said, you see the difference. You look at the Bloody Acre one, and I think the Bloody Acre one stepped us up. Even that little intro with the music and the way we did the intro, all of a sudden, I think we went from just going into a couple of little shots and talking in the woods. All of a sudden, we had this intro shot, but we had it in our head, and we start now when we go to places, we talk through it. Like, you know, we when we did Staunton Woods, which I'm editing at the moment, Adam had the idea for the intro in his head. So then when you get there on the night, you film it in how you've got that vision, and that's the good thing. Now we're starting to become, I wouldn't say professional, because I don't think I would professional, but we are starting to. We think the effort that we put in, it's we're made up. As you said, we've just reached over 500 subscribers today. You know, Peter Cavanagh's episode is rocketing on towards 800 views already, and hopefully once that lands in the Echo, it'll fly past 1,000. So it's all going really well.
That's what I found. I found, to me personally, as you're touching there on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, and I found that Facebook had a lot of restrictions. I mean, 1 minute it was up at 50, 60,000, where I had people in and around doing what I was doing and interacting over a month, and then within a couple of weeks they'd shrunk everything down, and then it was like 5,000, 10,000 a month or stuff like that on the interaction. So I do feel a little bit sorry for people that's putting all the amount of time, effort, and energy in when somebody's restricting it already. I can't understand the point where we're promoting all this platform and everything and using a fantastic platform. I just can't understand why that is. And to me, it usually all comes down to money and paying to promote and stuff like that as well, where it's not all about money. I think I actually written to Facebook and I inboxed them and I messaged them and I said, I can understand your platform, totally agree with what you're doing, it's your setup and stuff. And I just put a nice letter together for them, and I just said, you need to see it from the other side of the people's time, effort and energy and that they're doing of what you're doing and putting that over as well. I didn't get a response.
But we said that with, ironically, we didn't have an episode past 1,000 views. And then Adam went out and did a live in Bebington Cemetery, which was comedy gold, because as he said, he couldn't get the S-Box to the SB7 to work. The speaker wouldn't work again. But all of a sudden, it suddenly just started flying up and it got to 1,200 views. And it was like, hang on, we're putting all this effort into film and edit and promote and everything. Walks around the graveyard with a selfie stick and a mobile phone and a torch and 1,200 views. So it just shows you, yeah. It just shows you can do all that promotion in the world, but for anybody watching who's thinking of starting up, try and do some lives, because the thing is, once it's funny how you as you say, your Facebook page can suddenly feel like it's gone dormant, but then if you go live on your Facebook page, it starts to pop up on people's pages. If you change your profile picture and things like that, it'll pop up. It's little tricks that we're learning as we're going along. What's going to make you suddenly jump onto people's pages again?
Also, what I've noticed as well is spot on with that is changing the little pictures. I don't push. Word of mouth to me is the best way, and I think that you're doing that fantastic as well. I would definitely recommend you do a little walk around the boat museum over here in Ellesmere Port. Possibly October, November time when it's an eerie night, just on a walk around, and definitely Port Sunlight Village as well. I don't know whether it's open for the public now with the lockdown. I don't know when we're coming out of the 12th, but there's actually been apparitions seen walking through the Lady Lever Gallery. So that's an interesting place just to walk around and even film around the outside as well. But there's been full apparitions there as well. The Boat Museum, both of them places have had Peaky Blinders doing film shots there as well. And I've been there when they've actually done the filming quite late on at night as well. So I can highly recommend them too for you.
No, it's great.
Thanks, Gary.
You're welcome, no problem. Anything else that you'd like? Where can everybody find you? I know we've touched on it, we've shared it. Where else can everybody find you?
All the regular places, obviously. Give us a follow and a like on Facebook. Adam looks after the TikTok and the Twitter accounts. I look after the Instagram account, which I'm not as tech savvy as he is. Adam's a lot better at all that stuff than I am. I'm getting there with Instagram, but I've not really used it per se. And then obviously the YouTube channel. If anyone wants to head across to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. We have got a brand new episode from the Coburg Pub on Stanhope Street. That's going to be out on the 9th, Friday the 9th of April. That's going to be out at 8 o'clock.
What was the place, Chris, by the hospital that's just been pulled down? What was that place? I can't remember. What was the name of that place that's just been pulled down? There's quite a bit of petition over it where I think there was just a wall left, wasn't there? And I think they've actually knocked that down now. Can you remember what that place was?
Whereabouts?
It's off Scotty Road and you go up towards the hospital and it's just on the top there before you swing round. Oh, I'm trying to think. There's one of the famous pubs or the nightclubs.
Oh, don't know. Can't remember.
Yeah, I just remember seeing an article about it, but no problem. So I think you're doing really well. Keep up the good work, and bearing in mind where you are from like October alone, I think I've been in this now about 12 years, and the people I've met it's just amazing friends. It's just I can see you just remind me of where you are and how you're developing. You're doing really, really well. So I just say keep up the great work. You know what I mean? Take my hat off to you. And I have watched a couple of your shows and I've jumped on some of your lives after when I've been free. I really, really am enjoying it as well.
No, cheers. I mean, the same for yourself, Gary, and yourself, Karen, Jolene. I got educated in October when I watched the Festival of the Unexplained that time, and there's so many different guests, and I'm just so interesting. And then even the last one, I think was it February or January, I think, and just even the difference of all the guests. If you want to learn about tarot cards and this, that, and the other, it was brilliant. So and it's you guys as well that if you're putting that information out there, and this is where we're privileged, but we're really grateful to be invited onto this. It's because we do watch a lot of it, and as you know, we try and take part in the chats and push it out there, because as we touches on what you've just said, it doesn't reach enough people what you're trying to do with all this, and it's not so that we suddenly wake up in the morning and we've reached 10,000 subscribers or something. It's about these discussions and everything like that getting out there, and just so again, big thank you to you guys, because things like this exist because you give up your time as well, mate. So thank you to yourself as well.
Appreciate that, and there is a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes, and we're all in it to promote each other, and we all support each other, and that's nice to see. Even giving an hour and a half of your own time's up to talk about what you're doing and all that. That helps other people about getting out and about there. Phil is actually my cameraman. He's an amazing cameraman there, and we've been to some amazing places. And he jumped out at me at Margam Castle with the mask on, and I just went, I'm not having that. So you know what I mean. We've had some good nights as well.
To be honest, I think we've chatted to Phil on. I think Phil was on the Allerton Towers live that I did when I actually, which is on the YouTube channel, when I did actually get something had to go at me from behind on that. So it's yeah, I think and a few of the Anubis guys were on there that night. It was good. It was a really good live. That again, the interaction of different groups just supporting each other, as Adam said. You're shitting your pants in the middle of this woods, but then you've got conversation going on with people that you can do it, and it's that mentality of we're with you,
Not having that, Kel.
Just sort of come
I was like, I know it's Phil. He's only that small, you know what I mean? Also, as well, just before we quickly go, have you done a little juniors live and a walk around? Are you promoting anything with the juniors? Did I see, or am I getting mixed up with that?
No, go on. I'll let Adam take that one. Is he froze again?
I'm still here, but I'll persevere if you can hear me.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, obviously we've both got kids, and I mean I've got 32 kids in my little classroom, but I don't bring them home with me. They stay where they are. But I've got 2 kids, and they're my Ella's 10 now, and Jack's 4. And we just decided, it'd be great to do a little junior episode, because I mean Ella and Jack are just like, oh, can we come with? But the places that we go are not very child friendly, are they? So we just thought we'd go to our local park. I'll turn the camera on, I'll go live, and it's just, again, it's something very, very different. And they feel absolutely, like movie stars, especially with all the fans interacting with them and saying hi and and well done and keep going. And I think Marnella's got a career in film out of it. She just kind of took over, and that was it then. And it was kind of her show turned into a little Lazaret Fielding. So it's and then Chris did the same as well with his daughter, didn't you, mate? Yeah,
exactly. I mean, my kids are teenagers. Grace is 13, nearly 14, and Kira's 15. So to Kira, I'm embarrassing dad, but Grace has got autism and a mental disability. So mentally, Grace is about 4 or 5 in a lot of ways, but she wanted to come out. She loves the camera, and it was with Grace, it was always going to be one or two things. It was I always thought it was going to go along the lines of Carnage, because Grace likes to ask random questions. So we went back to Calderstones to do the same tree as Auntie Nikki did in a wheelchair and everything. So I thought that would make Grace feel more comfortable. And before you knew it, we were finding out what everyone's favourite 80s music was and what was your favourite programme when you were a kid. So we went from a paranormal investigation to a Q&A with Grace. But that's what the junior ones were all about, Gary. It was just putting I'm only on Facebook as well because these are our kids.
Yeah.
This is what when we're not doing these episodes for you, this is where our time goes, and just allowing people into our lives a little bit as well, they went down really well.
And that's what it's about. It's like certain things are what you can do with the little ones on the investigation. It's like giving the K2 or giving the dowsing rods and stuff like that to experience it. But these are, they just love it just as much as we do as well. And it's nice to see as well. And I thought it was a really nice touch. And well done. I'd take my hat off to you. You know, it's keep going with the good work and stay on with me. We are going to finish it there. If you've got anything else that you want to put out, feel free.
Just to say, I know because I cut off then as well. Sorry that my internet connection keeps going, but yeah, the kids are firmly back in the box now, so it's back over to the real stars of the show with me and Chris. You know, they'll have their time, but it's our turn at the minute.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When it comes to as we grow, we have got ideas in our head of once we can, we want to go and investigate places in Wales, but there's a lot of things, and it's like, we've got to keep reminding ourselves we've only been going for 5 months, so let's make sure we don't do everything in 2021, and then come 2022 we're sitting there going, should we do that place again? And that's the thing. That's why we're filming as much as we can. We've got, we keep getting asked when are you going to do lives. We will do more lives, but at the moment, as Adam said, every time we message each other and say, right, let's go and do a live in that location, and then we'll get a message on Facebook. Oh, my mate said you can go and film in his pub. I say, okay, yeah, because it's it's indoors, and as you know yourself, it's so much easier filming indoors with the illuminators and the night vision. You get the light so much better. But
yeah,
I think as well, we want to do something back for the fans as well, don't we? Really, as a thank you, and we are looking at trying to get some sort of fan event somewhere. Only something small, obviously, when COVID lifted a little bit, because they have stuck with us, and that's we do keep getting asked, can we come on one? Can we come on one? And we really, we'd love to have everyone there, but it does open a bit of doors for different things that we need to look into. So we are currently looking at something for fans, just to give something back as well.
Okay, Chris, Adam, I'm just going to say it was a pleasure. Just thanks for being part of the show tonight, and it's much appreciated. Stay on. I'll end the broadcast there. Thanks for everyone that's tuned in.
Thanks, all your guys. Don't forget to subscribe.
Keep on watching keep on chatting platform there. We've got loads of other shows coming on this week, and again, thanks for your time. Thanks for tuning in, and look forward to catching up with you all soon. There we go. There's our Phil. He's on to it. Right. I'll catch up with you soon. I'll just end the broadcast. Thanks for tonight, lads. Pleasure.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.
Welcome, mate. Cheers.